Hi, it's Darnell with Wave of Recipes, and this is my review of the Ninja Crispi Pro 6-in-1 Glass Countertop Air Fryer cooking system. So I'm going to get it unboxed and bring you right back. Alright, so let me show you a little bit about this. This is the power cord. It's a pretty lengthy 3-prong grounded cord. I like that. And it's an 1800 watt cooker, so that's about the max you can have on a circuit in a kitchen. So you want to have nothing else on the same circuit with this at all, or you're going to blow your circuit and then you're going to be wondering why. It's because this needs to be on a dedicated circuit in your kitchen when it's in use. And it has 6 cooking functions. We'll be going through all those in a moment. Its dimensions are 11.8 inches in length by 12.2 inches in width by 11 inches in height, and it has 2 cooking containers that it comes with. It has a 6-quart container that it comes with, and it also has a 2.5-quart container that it comes with, so it can cook in the 2.5-quart or the 6-quart if you choose. I think they also sell a 4-quart that you can get separately if you want. They say that the 6-quart container can cook up to a 7.5-pound chicken, so that's pretty good. And they say, according to Target's website, which is the only one at this time that I could find that talks about weight, they said that it weighs 17.86 pounds. Now, as I go further into this review and more of the details and testing and cooks and such, I do want to mention that if this ever reaches a point that is not to your liking, there is the timestamps feature, there is the chapters feature, there's ways to quickly advance here on YouTube on the Wave Oven Recipes YouTube channel. Also here on this Wave Oven Recipes YouTube channel, there are nearly 1,000 different countertop cooker type videos covering well over 100 different types of various countertop cookers, many from Ninja, many from other manufacturers. So I hope that there's something more to enjoy for you in this video as well as here on the channel as well. Alright, so now I'm giving you a closer up view of things. There is a lot to this cooking system, so there's a lot of detail that I'm going to be going into here. And we'll just start with the simple stuff with the paperwork. It comes with a manual, also comes with a quick start guide. The quick start guide has some recipes in here and cooking charts. So there's like some recipes here, you know, it's like one of several. And let's see, after the cooking charts, it goes to page, well, there's some pages for notes. So apart from the notes, you've got 27 pages in this book. And I just want to show you, you know, this is like the main unit. I'll show you how to get everything set up because there's a lot of detail that goes into that. But you can just kind of see, just getting the side view, getting the back view here. I'm just kind of blocking the information that I would need if I had to make a warranty claim for my particular unit. But it looks like there's just kind of like this little dot here. I'm not sure what that's for. Maybe that's just how they constructed it. But there's airflow holes at the top here. That's probably where your air is coming out. Here is where your intake is going to go for the air. So the air is going to go into the cooking container and come out of here, out the back. Also going to show you up inside of here, it's basically one big heating coil with a big fan there. There's an ambient probe down here in the corner. You probably can't see it. Now, if any of you are familiar with the original Ninja Crispi, full review of that is here on the channel, by the way. Full playlist, a lot of cooks and things. It came with containers just like this one comes with that have these handles hooked to the container here. And you cannot remove these handles. The holders that are on the container cannot be removed, and they say you should not try to remove them. They're supposed to be there. And they come with lids that you can use basically like after you cook your food and things are cooled down, you can throw the lid on it and you can put it in the fridge and break it out later when you're ready to eat some more. Or you can take this and after it's cooled down you can take it and put it on like a countertop, or even after, I think while it's still warm, you can put it on a like tabletop or whatever for serving sake. Now they say that you should stop using a container if any part of it is broken or damaged, and they also mention not to use if the glass gets chipped or deeply scratched. But the containers are freezer microwave and dishwasher safe. However, they are not, I stress not, oven safe. They're also not stovetop safe, and they're not broiler safe. And they say that if the glass does get damaged, dispose of it in the regular trash. Do not recycle it. And I guess that might be because of how the glass is heated or whatever. But they say do not try and recycle the glass in this cooking system. The crisper plates that go inside of the containers here, they mentioned that they're dishwasher safe, but they are not microwave safe. And you also see these like silicone tabs on the racks. You do not remove those. You want to keep those on. Those are to keep things from scratching the glass in there when you put it inside of one of the containers. And Ninja is calling the glassware their clean crisp glassware, and they say that it is non-toxic and thermal shock resistant. And they also say that it is PFAS and PTFE free. And they say that this cooking system is safe to cook on granite, laminate, butcher block, and marble. And as I mentioned, you can put this like on the table for serving. They have these rubber feet on the bottom to make it safe for countertop or the tabletop for serving. So now I want to show you how to use the modular base system. And this is the modular base here. And basically what you need to do is that you need to put it in the right position for the size container that you're using. So if you're using a 6-quart container, you put it in like that. If you're using a 4-quart container, you put it up on the middle level. And if you're using the 2.5 quart, you put it up on the highest level there, like that. I'm going to put it back in the 6-quart position. And what you need to do, these crisper plates are the exact same size. And you just take one, you put it into the container that you're going to be using. And after you've got that crisper plate in there, you just put this up in here. And you've got to kind of maneuver it to get it in there. It takes a little bit of work to get it in there right. And once it's in there, you got to make sure it snaps. Make sure you hear that snap when you put it in there or it's not in right. So once it's snapped in, you can start with your cooking. Alright, so now I'm going to do some independent measurements of things. So just using a measure here, let's see what I see. I'm seeing just under 12 inches, so that's close to their 11-inch declaration for the height. For side to side here, I'm seeing about 12 inches there. And let's see what it is from the front to back. So I'm going to measure from about here over the top. That's probably where I can get the best view. So I'm seeing about, I mean, it's like under 12 is about what I'm seeing here. So things are about within the spec that they offer there. And so now I'm going to take the 6-quart pot out, and I just want to do some measurements of it. And we see here it's about a little under 4.5 inches in depth. Going diagonal here, we got about 11 inches. Here we've got about 9.5. And this way we are equal, about 9.5 there. For the 2.5 quart container, I need to put the crisper rack in there. And when you put the crisper rack in, make sure that these grooves are facing upward, because you want any fluid to like drain off them. You don't want to have it upside down where the grooves go downward and then fluid just kind of gets stuck in the grooves and just gets cooked in. It's going to be harder to get out. But with the crisper plate in there, we have, let's see, about 2 inches. Going this way, we got 9, equal here 9. Going diagonal, about 10. So those are your measurements. Okay, and so now we have the original Ninja Crispi portable cooking system next to the Ninja Crispi Pro air fryer countertop cooking system. And so we see, and this has its 4-quart container in it. We see that the Crispi Pro is taller than the Crispi, and we see that I guess side to side they're roughly about same-ish as far as side to side, but the original Crispi was made for travel. This Crispi Pro was not made to be like the portable take-around system. That's what this Crispi is for here. And with the original Crispi, if you remember, you have different functions but no temperature control. I'll go into it more later, but the Ninja Crispi Pro does have temperature control. So, you know, you can leave comments about how you feel about the original Crispi versus the Crispi Pro and which one you like or dislike or etc. And so I'm just going to show you, this is the 4-quart container from the original Crispi. And so I'm going to take this 6-quart container out, and I'm going to take this modular rack, put it in the 4-quart position in the middle, take the original Ninja Crispi 4-quart container, and there you go. It goes right in there. You can swap the 4-quart between the original Crispi and the Crispi Pro. Now this is the Crispi Pro 6-quart container, and the original Crispi is not fitting on there right. I can't get the original Crispi on the 6-quart container of the Crispi Pro. The 2.5-quart for the Crispi Pro, that also, let's see if it's going to be, you know, it works. Okay, so the 2.5-quart from the Crispi Pro can go on the original Crispi, but not the 6-quart on the original Ninja Crispi. Now the original Ninja Crispi came with a 6-cup container, which is smaller than the 2.5-quart container that we have here with the Crispi Pro. But if I take the Crispi Pro's modular rack, put it up to the 2.5-quart position, and even try to get this 6-cup container in there, it's just not going to fit. So it's just not going to go. And now I have the Gourmet Fry and Fold digital air fryer here next to the Ninja Crispi Pro. And the Fry and Fold is a 7-quart air fryer, also has the glass basket. Full review of this is also here on the channel. But you see the Fry and Fold is a little taller than the Crispi. However, the Fry and Fold is that way because this top lifts off and you can spin it when you got to travel with it. Kind of stick it in there like that for easier travel. Also, the Fry and Fold has a cord management system here in the top of it. So a little bit of difference there, and you see that it's a little bigger as far as, you know, 1 quart more in the pot, so it's a little bigger than the Crispi's pot. And we also see, like, side to side, it looks like the Gourmet is probably a little wider. So overall the Gourmet is a little larger, but it is a quart larger, but it only has one of these cooking containers, and it's a 7-quart. And I also want to mention that the build quality, just through general feel of these two, the build quality of the Ninja does feel a lot more sturdier than the Fry and Fold does. The Fry and Fold has a lot more plastic parts to it other than the glass container here. The Crispi, it's got a lot of plastic, but it just seems like it's sturdier overall. There are some metal, I guess, enhancements around here, like around there, and the modular plate is a bit more metallic or has a bit more metal. So in some areas it does have some metal, but just general feel, having to lift these two around, feel a lot more comfortable with this one. It just feels sturdier than the Fry and Fold, which seems to more easily, the parts can kind of more easily be moved around and adjusted. I mean, part of that is because of its design for it being mobile, but the Ninja Crispi Pro, especially if you don't have to travel, seems a bit more sturdier to me. So now I'm going to do an initial plug-in. So we just pop it on in there, and with the initial plug-in there's no lights or anything. And so now I'm giving you a close-up view of the display. I'm going to turn it on, and this here is a knob and a button. If you turn it clockwise from where it says air fry, it goes to max crisp, then it goes to re-crisp, then it goes to roast, then it goes to bake and proof, and then it goes to dehydrate. Now if you want to change time and temp like it's on air fry 390, you can hit the temp, and after you hit the temp, it's flashing. You can go like up to 400, or you can go up to 450. So our max temperature is 450, and let's see how low air fry will go. air fry goes down to 300. But if you want to change time, press the time button and you can go up to just 1 hour. Oh, actually, I forgot to mention, if you want to start a cook, you press this button and it starts it, or you press it again and it pauses. So that's how you start and pause a cook with this button here. Now I'm going to turn it off and just turn it back on and get things reset. And we're going to look at the Max Crisp. Now air fry, of course, is just when you want to air fry your food and you want to cook it that way. But Max Crisp is like if you want to melt a topping or you want to give something a brown finish. That's what they're saying Max Crisp is for. You see Max Crisp starts at 450, and we'll just check the ranges for it. I'm not able to change Max Crisp from 450 at all. But the times for Max Crisp, we can go down to 1 minute. We can go up to 30 minutes on the Max Crisp. So now if I hit time again, it kind of like goes back to this mode where I can adjust to the next one. Recrisp is supposed to be like for when you're reheating food. So the max temperature for a recrisp is 400. The minimum temperature is 300. For time, you can go up to like 1 hour there. So that's 1 hour on the recrisp is your max there. Now, if I, let's see, hit time again, and then go over to the roast function. With roast, we can see what our temperature limits are. We can go up to 400 on roast, and we can go down to, we can go lower on the roast. So you can take it a little slower and lower. At 250 is the minimum on your roast. So getting out of that mode, and we just turn it one more clockwise. We're at the bake proof. With bake proof, we can go up to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and we can go down to, well, it's like proof. So you can go down to 250, and then there's this proof option. And so proof, I don't know what temperature proof is, it's just a function. So let's see if we can go to the next function here, which is dehydrate. Dehydrate starts at 150. And so with that, we can go down to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. So that means the limits for this cooker as far as temperature ranges are 80 degrees Fahrenheit all the way up to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. That's a very wide range of variety that they offer. And the maximum for dehydrate is 195. For times on dehydrate, let's just check what the minimum is real quick. Looks like that's a 1 hour minimum there. And we'll go up to our max. Max for dehydrate is 12 hours. And of course, dehydrate is where you want to do your dehydrating. And you do have your light button here if you want to light things up. So now I'm going to show you something very interesting with the light. I'm just going to have it running on proof so that it doesn't make any noise. And you see when I turned it on, it did light up down there. But if I press light again, it goes brighter. Now if I turn the light off, then I press light once, it's like a faint light. Press light again, it's a brighter light. So it's like a two-stage light. And you press it again and it turns off. But if I totally stop this cook and I turn things back on, I want to show you what happens. It starts with this kind of bright light, but if I press the light again while it's not running, then it goes to the faint light. If I press light a third time, then it goes out. So the light sequence is a little different depending on if it's running or it's not running. And I also want to show you after you turn things back on again, it doesn't go back to the dehydrate. It doesn't like remember the settings at all. So it just goes back to that original air fry 390 every time. So this cooker has no memory at all. So now I'm going to do a temperature test. And so I've got an oven thermometer in there. I'm going to turn things on. And we're going to turn the air fry temperature up to the maximum of 450 degrees Fahrenheit. For the time, I'm just going to move time up to 30 minutes just so it's an even amount of cooking time. And so then I press the button here to start. And we'll just let it run for maybe about 10 minutes and then we'll see where the temperature is at. Alright, so things have been going for 10 minutes. The fan has been strong enough to turn the oven thermometer a bit, but I can tell you it is just at 450 degrees Fahrenheit. I want to do a sound decibel check now. So we see we're around the 58, 59, really upper 58, 59 decibel sound. So with that, this is a slightly louder air fryer than average, just a little louder. And so now I just want to try and feel around, see how hot things are. Here on the table is cool, but of course that's hot all the way around. You don't want to touch that. Up here is just a little warm. I mean, it's hot back there where the hot air is coming out. Up top here is cool. So, and of course the handles are cool, so that's nice. So now I've got a thermal imaging camera here, and of course we can see that things, according to the thermal imaging camera, are very hot on that glass. On the top is cooler, as I mentioned, so basically as you would predict things to be, except for that exhaust in the back is very hot, as you can see there. So that's just to give you more of a thermal imaging perspective. Now, although we know that hitting the start-stop button the start-pause button will pause things, I want to try opening or pulling the container out and see if that auto-pauses. It's supposed to, but we'll see. And it does auto-pause immediately, so I can get it out and show you that it is showing, 450 there, so that's good. Now I just want to test making some adjustments on the fly. So if I hit the temperature, let's see, I bring that down to 435. Let's see if it takes that change. It takes a little bit, but I think it'll take it in a moment. Yeah, I guess it took it. It just took a while. Yeah, it's still showing 435. So if I go to time and I up time to 20 minutes, we'll see if it, takes that. It seems to flash for a good while before it actually invokes the change. So yeah, so it took that change. So you are able to make time and temperature changes on the fly. So now I'm going to do a toast test. I've got 2 slices of my spelt whole wheat light sourdough bread here. A video of how I make it is here on the channel. Now, things are still pretty warm from some earlier use, but we're just going to go with it anyway. And so I'm going to put the bread in, and it's going to have to overlap just a little bit. Well, let's see if I can, it doesn't overlap. So we got it in there, like so. So I'm going to get it on in. It snaps. I've raised things up a little for you to see a little easier. And so turning it on, and we're going to use the air fry. I'm going to up temp. I'm going to just max it out at 450. This bread's pretty resilient, so it won't, be totally burnt up. But we'll give it 5 minutes, and we'll hit start there. We'll see what happens. All right, time's up. So we just slide this out of here. Just set it there, and we'll get this. This is the unbuttered slice, so you see it got toasting on one side. Of course I didn't flip it, so not much on the opposite side, but that looks pretty good. And getting the buttered slice out of here. We see that buttered slice looks pretty good. Butter is well melted. And so let's see on the other side, just some melted through butter. So things turned out pretty well. Alright, so I've got my almond flour chocolate chip cookie dough batter here. I'll show the recipe on the screen. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take some extra light olive oil. Don't confuse this with extra virgin or regular olive oil. It's not the same. High smoke point. I'm just going to spray the crisper wrap with it. And this is coming out of a pump sprayer. This is not an aerosol can sprayer. That type of stuff doesn't work out well usually on the coating of a lot of these countertop cookers. So I usually don't use those aerosol can type sprays. what I'm going to do, I'm going to just, so that I don't disturb airflow, I'm not going to use parchment paper. I'm just going to try and put the cookies on the crisper rack. And I will mention while I'm getting the cookies on the rack that the display shows hot when the heating coils are still very hot. And once it's basically cooled down, it just shows this, temperature setting here. It just defaults back to the original 390 air fry setting after it cools down. I haven't seen it like automatically turn itself off. I would assume it does that in time, but you do have a power button for that. And now that I've got the cookies all laid out, something else that I found with the original Ninja Crispi to try and mitigate things getting overcooked on the top, I'm going to try it with this one just in case, but just spray just a little oil over the top of the cookies can help to prevent them from basically burning over too quickly. And if you've seen my old Ninja Crispi videos, you know that. So I'm going to take this and just slide it on in now. Got it locked in place, so I'm going to spin over to there's the bake proof. So they recommend, I guess, just starting out 325, 15. I'm going to use the 325, but I'm going to up the time, and I don't think I'll need 30, but I'll give it 30 anyway, and we'll just see how things go. Things are a little warm, even though it's not hot, so it's, it's not showing hot, but they're just a little warm. We'll hit start. We'll just see how things go. Alright, it's been 20 minutes. I'm hitting the pause there. I'm just going to check things out. See how things look there. I think things are cooking fairly even overall. Pretty good. So I'm just going to I think I'm going to give them, I'll give them another 5. They're like almost there. So we'll just continue a little longer. Alright, 25 minutes. Gonna check these real quick. Yeah, they're done. They're good now. So have a look at those. Compared to the old Ninja Crispi, this is far better. Far better. I'm just getting them all out here. And I'll just show you the bottom of one. See, the bottoms look good. Tops look good. And I will say, of course, I know I could have done a preheat if I wanted to. I chose not to, just to see how things would go. And things turned out very nicely. So there we go. Ninja Crispi Pro. Baked the cookies very nice and far better than the original Ninja Crispi would do. So now I have a dozen wing sections here. I've put some extra light olive oil on them. Don't confuse that with other types of olive oil. And I've put some lemon pepper seasoning and some Old Bay seasoning on the wings also. And so I'm going to put them here in the pot. And these wings, I have to say, are partly frozen. They've been thawing overnight. So they're kind of half frozen, half not frozen. Alright, so had to get the hands cleaned off. And so now I'll get this slide slid on in there, turn things on. They say for wings up to 2 pounds on air fry, you should do 400 for 30 to 35 minutes. Of course, these are kind of half frozen, so we will do, I'll set it to 45. We'll see how things turn out, but that will start it up and we'll let things run for a while. Alright, it's been 10 minutes, but things look like they're moving along, so I'm going to flip them over now. Alright, I'll check them in about 10 more minutes. Alright, It's been 20 minutes. Let's just check things. Do some temperature checks. It might be done. Yeah, we're done. That's like over 200. From here, it's over 200. Yeah, we're good and done. So, pretty good deal there. Have a look at those wings. You can tell me how they look to you. They look pretty good to me. So just give you another look at those plated. So they look pretty nice. Now let's talk about cleaning. Basically, to clean it, you want to, of course, unplug, let it cool down fully before you start cleaning. They say that the glass containers and the crisper plates can be washed either in the dishwasher or by hand. The lids can be washed in the top rack of the dishwasher or by hand. The modular base and the main unit, this is the main unit here, should only be washed by hand. And so you can just use like some warm soapy water to wash things with a washcloth and wash everything off, and then a wet one wipe things down, and then dry things off fully. And they say do not use anything abrasive, and of course don't submerge this main unit in water. Personally, I'll wash everything by hand because I find things last longer that way. So let's talk about the warranty. The cooker comes with a 1-year limited warranty, which is the standard from Ninja. And so we see that it basically was able to do everything that it was tasked to do better than the old Ninja Crispi portable cooking system would do things. Everything turned out well, and so that's very good. And you know, Ninja, they did a better job on this one than the last one, quite apparently. And so I hope that you did enjoy this review. And nothing in this video is sponsored, nothing given to me. And so there are lots of ways for you to help the channel. I forgot to mention something with the warranty though. With the warranty, Ninja says that you can send it to them for free when you need to get repair or replacement. But they will charge you a $20.95 fee to get the unit back. And that's a price that's subject to change. That's what they say in their manual. So keep that in mind. But, as I was saying, you can help this channel a lot of ways in the video description. There are things like my cookbook merch, membership, donations, links to a lot of different shops. And also, if you see the shop icon here on the Wave Oven Recipes YouTube channel, and you can click that if you want to buy this unit through that. If there's a link to buy it, you can use that. It'll help the channel, or anything else you want to buy through that helps the channel. Also, there are links to a lot of different shops in the video description. Also, there are options to help the channel like super thanks and buy me a coffee links as well. And there are free ways that you can help as well. There's a hype button if you're watching this in the first 7 days on a mobile device. You can use the hype button up to 3 times to help promote this video to other people. And also, you can give this video a thumbs up. You can share it with a friend, leave your comments, subscribe, hit that notification icon, and good eating.